I believe that probably all of us could put improviser on our LinkedIn profile. None of us got up this morning and decided exactly what we were going to say and how we were going to say it. One of my favorite takeaways from different workshops that I perform in medical faculties and in all sectors is how we are able to improvise. And indeed, the new quotient coming down the pipe, we all know IQ, and for 20 years now, since it was started at Yale, EQ is an important part of our professional development programs. AQ. How many people in the room have heard of AQ? Come into a social science researcher near you. The AQ is our adaptability quotient. Mentally pivot. Think on your feet, deal with that unpredictability, and be able to have that agility that is so necessary in the organizations and the lives that we lead. Okay, I have to have you out of here in about 10 minutes. So play along with me, and we're gonna condense the social science research in gender communication. My name is Nancy Watt. I run a creative agency that deals with specialized facilitation to explain evidence-based social psychology and behavioral economics and neuropsych, but we do so using the tools and techniques of improv. The theory is called cognitive emotional pedagogy, whereby the research shows that when we learn and we use our creativity and we have an emotional component in the learning as well, it is the secret sauce for long-term retention and deep experiential learning. And that is exactly what we're about to do. And I do so because it gives an arm's length to sometimes necessary and candid conversations. Let me tell you, when I speak with a group of men and I am about to tell them that the way that they are communicating is obtuse, that is sometimes a difficult message to land, right? So too is it sometimes difficult to speak with a group of females and be able to explain to them that the way that we are communicating is completely misinterpreting and misrepresenting the conversation. And understanding, the value of understanding the disconnect in how we communicate is vitally important to stem the tide of women leaving tech. Right? Right. Thank you. I love you're right there with me. You're right there with me. In improv, the underlying rule of an improv are two words called yes and. Yes and. Yes is accepting the reality that the other has created on stage, and is how we acknowledge and heighten and advance that. It intrigues me that what the research shows is that when men are doing the talking, they are able to hold eye contact for longer than we do, longer than women do. I know. I like that. When women are doing the listening, interestingly, we hold eye contact for longer than men do. All of the research shows that when, and this is cross-cultural, not just Western culture, but when women are doing the listening, we have subtle and powerful social cues that tells the speaker that they are being heard, or that we tend to nod a lot. A whole bunch right in this, you do this, you nod, and we often say, you know. A very common miscommunication happens when men who are talking and they have a woman listening, and the woman listening is nodding and saying, The men mistake that for agreement with what they are saying. It is not. It is not. It is not necessarily. What women are doing is great. Why are you look at this guy laughing? So he's like, I know, right? Let me improve your marriage, sir. Just hang on one second. When you get home tonight, nod the hell out of the conversation, okay? Because what happens is that, when after he finishes talking and she says something perhaps contrary to what he was saying, well, he's jarred. And he thinks, I thought you were with me on this. And there is something called microaggressions. Some of you must know this, those fleeting, subtle, powerful facial muscles that show aggression, and the research shows women are way, way, way better at picking those up than men. And so then all of a sudden we hear in our organizations things like, I don't know, there's something about her, there's something about her I don't like. Or, she says he's kind of intense, right? Or he's inconsistent. And it doesn't have to happen. It doesn't have to happen. The research shows that by and large, males simply don't have those same social cues. They don't, they tend to just be a little bit more stone-faced when they're listening. It's not that they're not listening. They just don't look like they're listening, sir. You're giving me nothing over there, and so what happens when the female is speaking, she tends to perhaps say it again, maybe differently, often louder, right? And so, you're not hearing me. Are you there? Are you there? And what happens is that the bubble over his head is, why does she tell me things twice? Right? Why? I heard this the first time. Why does she do that? Does she think I'm stupid? Let me tell you, men feeling less than or not intelligent or being made to question that is a huge social threat and is a threat to their status. In fact, there's a great study out of Stanford that shows that our infant daughters receive more social cues, more facial expression, more social cues than our baby boys do. From both mothers and fathers, we react more to infant females than males. Fascinating. There is a theory from David Rock. He leads an organization called the Neuro Leadership Institute in New York. He has a model called the SCARF model. SCARF is an acronym for status, certainty, autonomy, relatedness, and fairness. It is his contention that every single social interaction that we have is either going toward a social reward or away from a threat. And we have subtle and powerful ways that we can do this. So my host, you're going to come up and play with me for a second. We're going to do a little bit of improv here today. Oh, stop it. No, you're not. I am going to, when we talk about status, how we can elevate another status is by, positive reinforcement or another learning opportunity, or being able to have some public acknowledgement of the good work that they've done. A status threat is, any performance review. I don't care how good you are. No one goes into a performance review without a little threat to their status. But there are often subtle and powerful ways that we can elevate or diminish someone else's status or even our own. I'm Dee Dee. Dee Dee is going to say to me, I'm going to give you the line that you're going to say. Right. I'm going to respond, and then you are going to improvise your response. Okay. The line that you're going to say to me is, hey, Nancy, I'm reading To Kill a Mockingbird. Give me that line.
Hey, Nancy, I'm reading To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh, wow. For the first time?
Yes.
Big hand for Dee Dee. Don't go away. What did I do? Just dig. Little, we work with some of those people. Dig. Give me that line again. Hey, Nancy, I'm reading To Kill a Mockingbird.
Hey, Nancy, I'm reading To Kill a Mockingbird.
As busy as you are, Dee Dee, with the little bit of free time that you have, you make time for the classics.
I do.
Good job. Her whole countenance changed, she just, I do. Wait a minute, you're not done yet. Her whole countenance changed, Very often what we see is this. Please give me that line again, Dee Dee.
Hey, Nancy, I'm reading To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh, wow. Wow, I can't believe you're reading that. I could never get through that.
I'm not sure that I can either.
Fascinating. What did I do? What did I do that time? Thank you, my own. Research shows women do this way more than men. And it's not because when we lower our status, it is not because we believe it. We do so in an effort to bond and connect. However, men absolutely view this as a low status behavior, and it is. And I have to tell you that it costs us. It costs us. And we do so often because we have previously paid the price for elevating our own status to the extent that we make the room really uncomfortable. Because very often something like this, give me the line again, darling.
Hey, Nancy, I'm reading To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh, that is a great book. You know, it was even better in French. Right, I know. Have you ever seen, have you ever worked with that person or known that person that just has to get the last, or they have to get the last word, or they have to up it or something like that? It's just, drives you crazy. Big hand for Dee Dee. Wait a minute. I want to give you, for every volunteer, I bring Canadian maple syrup wherever I go. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I need one more volunteer. In 2 minutes, I'm going to talk about you. Look at her hand. She's going, she either loves maple syrup or she's all good. Cross-cultural. This is the research that I want to share with you. Cross-cultural, cross-genders. This is the following type of communication that is worth your time. This is worth your attention. The researcher is Gable. She talks about the difference between constructive and deconstructive. You know this. You're nodding. Okay, you're just relating to me. I love how she's right there. The constructive, deconstructive, active and passive type communication. When someone is speaking in a constructive way, they are involved. They are listening. They are with you. Deconstructive is they can be involved, but they tend to be invested in negativity or what could go wrong. And active and passive, active is either very engaged or passive is not so much. So you are. Hello. Who are you?
I'm Ashley.
Ashley, welcome. Come right here. Come here. Okay, big hand for Ashley. Ashley, you're going to just say, Nancy, I got a new job.
Okay.
That's the line that you're going to say to me.
All right. Nancy, I got a new job.
Stop it. That's so great. Oh my God, I know that you've been working so hard for it. This is exactly what you've deserved. Tell me, when do you start? What are you excited about? What's so great?
Oh, I start next week, and it's been interviewing forever, and I finally got it. It's just so exciting.
Awesome. Active constructive is hearing the other, often mirroring what they have said with similar enthusiasm. Please, Ashley, give me that line again.
Hey, Nancy, I got a new job.
Whoa. God, that's a lot of responsibility. Are you sure you're ready for that? Or is your partner okay with the extra responsibilities at home? And
I think he'll get along fine. I mean,
look at that response. What I love, and this is almost when people react to deconstructive communication coming at them, they back away. They will literally remove themselves from the conversation. It is very difficult. It is the killjoy, right? It's like, whew, good, congratulations. Are you sure you can handle that? We have a deep negativity bias, and the research shows that deconstructive, active communication responses are more prevalent in males than females. Give me that line again. Hey, Nancy, I got a new job.
Hey, Nancy, I got a new job.
Good.
Yeah. I think it's good.
Oh, exactly. Love that she's taking. I think it's good. The constructive, passive. Not deconstructive, but sure as hell not near to what is deserved and what makes the individual feel validated and increased status. One more time.
Hey, Nancy, I got a new job.
Yeah. Are we still meeting for coffee on Monday?
No.
No, love that. Love that. Not now, we're not. Not anymore, we're not. Deconstructive passive, don't even acknowledge it. You want to lower someone's status? Ignore them. Watch how this happens. When we talk about women feeling unheard in the boardroom or interrupted and invalidated, Lainey's love her, talking about the importance of belonging. When we do that, it costs our organizations. Here is your maple syrup. Here is, big hand for Ashley. Big hand for Ashley. The social science of understanding different cultural and gender communication is worth our time because we need you to keep the hand on the rudder of the conversation. We need you to be able to manage the psychological state of flooding. Who has heard of this? Flooding. Flooding is the being emotionally overwhelmed when we are in an emotionally charged situation. You know, I don't know if I have had the experience of having an argument, and then on the way home in the car, I'm driving and I'm like, why didn't I think of that? Right? Or I should have said this, or I should have said that. We have an amygdala. We have an amygdala that in an emotionally charged situation is activated. They call it the amygdala is hijacked. And we have that neurological and biological response of fight or flight. What helps us recover is the vagus nerve. And interestingly, what helps the vagus nerve recover and be able to manage that psychological state of flooding are moments of deep connection. Moments of connection, of belonging, of connectedness that serve us well. This is the type of community. This is the type of environment. This is the type of sisterhood and brotherhood that we build here that builds that community. So thank you very much. I know that you're on a break now. Come on, join us in the McKinley room when we're going to have the graduation ceremony for the accelerated program. Thank you very much. Thank you.